Hey, Wamburg World Entertainment. The story, would Macaulay Culkin actually return for a Home Alone sequel? The pitch? Well, it's a Macaulay Culkin's own pitch for what the Home Alone sequel would actually be to convince him to return. And this, of course, is after years of failed sequels and even attempts at reboots, and they all just got worse and worse, which we all know because, they were bad. But recently, Culkin himself has revealed one concept and the one story that would actually be good enough to bring him back. What is that story? Well, we're going to have a look at this because, holy crap, could you imagine right now an actual Home Alone 3 that it essentially would be with Macaulay Culkin? Let's have a look. So, the original Home Alone helped make Macaulay Culkin a star, and while he returned for 92's Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, he has yet to appear in a proper sequel since. Now, the whole proper sequel is because he made those little kind of YouTube videos that were meant to be like the unofficial sequels, where wasn't he look straight up murdering the invaders this time around? Either way, and he was kind of in a very bad place when he did those as well. So he's cleaned himself up now, and that's good for him. And it's good to see, especially now that he's a father himself. So during a recent event, the actor did confirm that he would be open to a return, and even pitched his own idea for a sequel, which would be more about metaphorical traps existing between a father and son than a home invasion. At this point, there are no announced plans for what the future holds for the Home Alone franchise. During his nostalgic night with Macaulay Culkin event, per People, the actor confirmed of a return by saying, "I wouldn't be completely allergic to it. It would have to be just right." While Culkin largely distanced himself from Hollywood and Home Alone as he got older, he has returned to the world of two commercials. First in 2018 for Google Assistant, and then earlier this month for Home Instead. Culkin detailed his plot. So he said this: "I kind of had this idea. I'm either a widower or a divorcee. I'm raising a kid and all that stuff. I'm working really hard and I'm not really paying enough attention, and the kid is kind of getting miffed at me, and then I get locked out." So Culkin thinks it would be Kevin's son setting the traps, and it would be a get let back in to his heart kind of deal. That's the closest elevator pitch that I have. I'm not completely allergic to it. The right thing. So he's talking about like the idea if it's right and stuff, he's not completely against that idea. So once Culkin exited the franchise, 1997's Home Alone 3 saw a group of thieves attempting to break into a family's house to retrieve a computer chip that had been hidden inside a remote control car that had accidentally been swapped at the airport. And in 2002, made-for-TV Home Alone 4 featured a kidnapping plot. Though features a number of characters from previous movies who had been recast with all new actors, in 2012, Home Alone The Holiday Heist was another made-for-TV entry, featuring a group of thieves planning to steal a painting from the basement of a house, not realizing that new owners had moved in. Disney Plus' original Home Sweet Home Alone was meant to revive the concept in 2021, featuring a story in which two parents believed a young boy stole a doll from them that they planned to sell to save their house, despite taking place in the world of the original movie, as confirmed by original star Devin Rattray, reprising his role as Buzz McCallister, and even mentioned his brother Kevin. The movie sits at only 15% positive reviews on aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes. Who cares about Rotten Tomatoes? So his pitch, McCulkin's pitch to come back as Kevin McCallister for a one more round of Home Alone would be that he would be the father, and it's not so much about the invaders coming to the house and stuff. It would be about him getting locked out and trying to get back into the good graces of his kid, that he's been ignoring the kid for too long and stuff like that. It's an interesting concept, and the idea that, yeah, you'd move away from the thieves and stuff, it kind of makes sense at this stage. You know, you can't just keep doing that same thing over and over and over again. You know, the idea that they basically had 4 movies, yeah, 2 of them were TV movies, but still overall 4 movies that were pretty much the exact same concept. Obviously, Home Alone 2 was quite different because it was Kevin actually goes with them, but ends up on the wrong plane, and he ends up in New York. And it just so happens that he runs into the Wet Bandits, who of course rebrand themselves as the Sticky Bandits. And of course, we all know now the famous story of, oh, Donald Trump bullied his way to be in the movie and stuff like this. Yeah, whatever, who cares? He's in a throwaway scene. But it was funny. I really like Home Alone 2. Obviously, the first one is fantastic, but I really enjoyed the second one as well. And of course, Tim Curry is in that one. But the idea of seeing little Kevin McCallister being now the father, and of course, the majority of the cast anyway are still alive, so obviously you could bring back Catherine O'Hara to be Kevin's mother and stuff. Obviously, the dude, I can never remember his name, the guy who played his father, he passed away a good few years ago now. Doesn't he had an operation or something, and there was complications when he was in the hotel recovering, and basically suffered a stroke or something, if I remember correctly. Either way, you know, unfortunately he's passed. But the idea of Kevin McCallister being the father now to the kid who is basically setting the traps. Obviously, would he set real traps? Don't know. Could this movie work? Absolutely it could. But don't forget, Disney now own Home Alone, thanks to them buying Fox. So if this was to be done, all likelihood is that they would just make it for Disney Plus, that they would never intend to release it on the big screen. So you would have to contend with the idea of, well, we're going to get finally an actual sequel to Home Alone and Home Alone 2 with Macaulay Culkin and as Kevin McCallister, and it's going to be a Disney Plus exclusive, because that's what it probably would be. But overall, he is open to returning. What do you guys think about the idea? Do you like his pitch? If you think maybe they should leave it alone, do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.